Cars rolling on out. Qualifying yesterday was unbelievably competitive. It was that late part of the day where the rain and the weather was a little bit of an issue. We weren't too sure if we were going to get a little bit. It was pretty cool and everybody was keen to get on the road early, build up tyre temperature and stay out on the track because staying in the pit lane was not the way to go. Leanne Tander, one of 3 invited drivers this weekend in the Toyota 86 Racing Series. David Cedars, we've seen him in V8 Utes run the curbs. The Toyotas can handle them pretty well, but this guy, Adam Gowans, car 11, the Tasmanian, don't watch for him here, watch for David Cedars. He ended up in the fence. Gowans eventually, though, on pole position, but he did the worst thing he could do coming to a race meeting. Forgot to bring his race suit. He's had to borrow one from Owen Kelly to get through the rest of the weekend. Luke King here, he put together a deal just a couple of days ago to drive Gary Holt's car this weekend, and the times just kept on tumbling. Unfortunately for Tim Brook, though, he went bush bashing for a while.
Yeah, finding the limits there, but it's what it's all about in qualifying. So a couple of good showings there from some of the drivers, and the times just kept coming down throughout the whole session.
And Adam Gowans, the Tasmanian, has taken his first pole position of the season, and we caught up with him ahead of race 1.
Adam Gowans, you've had a really tough first couple of rounds in Toyota 86s, but today, pole position at Sandown, you must be stoked.
I am, Noots. Couldn't be happier. It has been a tough start. It's a tough category, more competitive than what I thought, and look, we just didn't have our car set up at the beginning of the season. We've chipped away at it, and it's, you know, I think here as well, there's been less testing, and I come to a track that people don't know as well, and yeah, did the job.
Those conditions looked like it was threatening to rain, but the key looked like staying out there and just keep doing laps and keep building temperature. Was that the case?
Yeah, look, I saw a couple of drops when we were sitting on the dummy grid and thought there could be a bit of rain, and the tyre's good straight out the gate, so yeah, it didn't go off. I think the weather conditions allowed a few extra laps, and it helped. You know, we came in to reset our tyres, and I think Will just got me and went out there and just went another couple of tenths quicker, or a couple of hundreds, I think.
It's nice to see him smiling. He hasn't had much to smile about in the first couple of rounds of the Toyota Series. He starts on the front row with the man who sits second in points, Will Brown, who's on double duty this weekend in Formula 4 as well. Luke King and Tim Brook. Stephen Johnson, one of 3 invited drivers. That's about the highest we've seen any invited drivers qualify this year. You know, you've been there and raced in Sydney. Unbelievably tight, though, in qualifying. The margins so close. Tony Longhurst, great to have him in the series this weekend as well.
Yeah, look, Stevie's done a great job. Obviously, it's his second hit out in one of these cars, and he's got his head around a bit more. But good to see the old Tony back out there, and had a chat to him yesterday. He was a teammate of mine at one stage, so he'd be sort of working himself, getting a bit more comfortable as the race goes on here today.
Here is Stevie J on board the famous number 17. We've seen him do some racing in more recent times in Touring Car Masters. It's been a little while since Tony Longhurst has been behind the wheel racing-wise. He's been more heavily involved in boats and yachting in recent years in Queensland, but a guy with amazing experience in Leanne Tander, who is still a winner in the Australian Formula Ford Series. Spent some time away from racing, obviously had a couple of kids, and is now back behind the wheel, and it's her second time in the Toyota 86 Racing Series. So Leanne is going to line up from position 16. But with big long straights, everyone's driving the same Toyota 86. Making a move here is going to be really hard.
Yeah, look, there's a couple of good passing opportunities here if you're close enough for a dive under brakes, but having ABS on all these cars, you really have to force another driver into a mistake to you know, make that pass. So we'll see what these guys do. They race quite hard at Eastern Creek, and yeah, like you said, the 2 long drag strips, you've really got to concentrate on getting that little bit of a better run out of the last corner onto the straight. Hopefully get a bit of a tow. It does actually work in these cars. You can get a bit of a gain in the tow, and you know, hopefully get up alongside them before the braking zone. And
one of the guys we have not spoken about yet, we've done nothing but talk about him for 2 rounds, Cameron Hill, points leader, struggled yesterday, qualified position 10, so he's got some work to do in the red number 111 car. Final couple of cars taking their spots down the back of the grid, and now Adam Gowans. He's been a winner in Aussie racing cars. He's been competitive in Porsche Carrera Cup. Green flag at the back. It's time to start Super Saturday at Sandown on Fox Sports. Adam Gowans on pole. Will Brown alongside. Luke King and Tim Brook, the best of the chasers. Away we go to turn 1, race 7 of the championship for the Toyota 86s. And it's all about trying to cover them off for that run to turn 1. Will Brown is going to go out around the outside and try to race race, Adam Gowans. He won't get it done there. Now he has to defend from Tim Brook. Great start from the pole man. Trent Grubel, though, and Aaron Seaton are into it already.
Yeah, everyone just jockeying for position there, but great start from Gowans. Got away cleanly and into turn one without any challenge. So.
33 cars making their way onto the back straight at Sandown. Josh Hunter out wide, up over the curb, but it's Gowans leading the way. Then Brown, Brook, Luke King. They've all sorted themselves out. And these little 4-cylinder, 2-litre Toyota 86s revving their brains out down the back straight now, side by side. Kane Baxter-Smith on the inside. Leanne Tander on board with, grabbing another gear. Baxter-Smith has the inside for the run over the top. Poleman, race leader in the fence. Lap one, Adam Gowans is done. Unbelievable stuff. He's had a big off over the top of the hill at Dandenong Road. He's bounced off the tyre wall. And I wouldn't mind betting that that might be a safety car.
Yeah, it just depends on what happened on the other side of the car, but maybe cold tyres, I reckon, as he's come over the top of the hill there.
Oh, he's got it going.
Lost the rear, yeah, he'll make it to pit lane, but
that's about it.
Gonna go, yeah.
Heavy damage for the Tasmanians. So Will Brown, who is fighting in the championship with Cam Hill, he won a race in Sydney a few weeks ago. He's got clear air and Tim Brook is going with him. They've got a margin now to Luke King. Stephen Johnson's fourth from sixth on the grid. Then Trent Grubel, then Aaron Seaton, David Cedars, Ben Grice, Cam Hill trying to get a move here on Grice, but he opens himself up to being vulnerable because Josh Hunter's with him, Jake Klein is as well. A whole pile of young, eager racing drivers, first thing in the morning, and they're into it.
Yeah, you've got to push quite hard quite early, so any chance you get, even a half a sniff, you've got to have a go because it is that competitive. And as I found it at Eastern Creek, these young guys like racing quite hard.
Ben Grice there just at the front of this queue. He had a gearbox problem yesterday, hence why he pulled off the circuit with a few minutes to go. Tim Brook in the slipstream of the leader, Will Brown. Trent Grubel going the long way on Stephen Johnson over the top of the hill. Stevie's seen all this before.
So yeah, Stevie just being a bit protective there. I think he obviously got a bad run out of turn 4 and had the cover coming down to the top of the hill. So maintain position.
Top two just managed to sneak away. Slow run there from Dandenong Road from Jake Klein. He's got the door open here. Damon Strongman and Drew Ridge are trying to go on through. It's tight here, up over the curbs. Klein hangs on. Cameron Crick goes down the inside in the door. Wow, he took the opportunity there, but he slowed himself now for the run down the Rock Straight, and Dylan Gulson will get a run. But these top two, if they can keep not fighting as hard as the others are, they'll be hard to catch.
Yeah, correct. I mean, obviously there's some points between first and second difference, but they're actually better off just chipping away, moving away from the rest of the team, the cars out there, sorry, and you know, just keeping the cars clean, concentrating on keeping the car flowing and making that gap away. But Tim Brook can probably work on Will Brown just as a couple of laps into the race.
Replay the start here, and Adam Gowans controlled it quite well. I thought everybody got through here okay. This is on board with Stephen Johnson. Look down the road and see if you can pick up what happened to the leader. Oh, lost the rear. Cold tyres. The rest were lucky to miss him. He didn't miss the wall, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he got a touch there.
He's already backwards in shot there. He's ended up in the wall where Simon Wills did many years ago. No, all his own. Cold tyres. Lost the rear. Tyre wall there, protecting the guardrail with the conveyor belt of tyres around. This on board with Leanne Tander.
Acre in front. Oh, bang. Just a bad bounce off the curb there. It's quite easy to do at turn 3.
Free spot for Leanne, though.
Yeah.
And this was the opportunist, Cameron Crick, trying to get a run on Drew Ridge, who had sort of had to slow because of what was going on in front of him. They're only sprint races, so you've got to get in there and have a crack nice and early. There's 100 points for the win in each of these Toyota 86 races, and it's Will Brown who leads the way, the young racer from Toowoomba. He works in the family car dealership, and I tell you what, he can pedal them pretty well as work in the dealership. This is a good fight. Young guys who've come from karting and different categories. Damon Strongman here, Drew Ridge, Cameron Crick. It's nice too that they've kept all the single-digit cars together and they're numerical.
The top 3 there on that last lap are all within 2,000ths of each other, so they're all matching each other on pace. It's quite important to get that early gap and just maintain it from there, because that's where you make your gains in this sort of category where everything's so tight. Because it all sort of settles down after a couple of laps.
Back to the front, Will Brown leading the way. Tim Brook, Luke King, Aaron Seaton going for the lunge and getting it done. Now that'll slow Trent Grubel. Door open for David Cedars to try to sneak on by. Who's on the wrong side for the next corner, but he's clear of him there and covers him off. So Ben Grice decides to go the long way around and see if he can grab Grubel, who's got him. Yep. Oh. And why not get Cedars? Go for the 2-for-1 deal. Good racing. What a way to start the day at Sandown. We're going to go 3 wide here just about for the run. Down the rock straight. So
Grubel's going to get him back here. It was probably a little bit silly on Grice's part, but got to have a crack, I suppose.
And just behind is Cam Hill, the 111 car. Series leader. He's looking to grab a couple of points here in a spot or two. He won't get it done there because Grice is on the inside for turn 2. It's been willing. I'm enjoying this. This is good stuff. This is the first of 3 races for the weekend for the Toyota 86s. It's their 3rd race meeting of the season. That's not how you should go through turn 1. Nick Filippetto's gone the long way around through there.
Lucky you got groove tyres to get through that grass. But Luke King on that lap, he's just set the fastest lap of the race, and he's closing that gap to Tim Brook.
126.80, so he's comfortably faster than the top 2 on the road. Fight here is just outside the top 10, led by Damon Strong. We're back to the front. There is Luke King, car 22. Just put this field together a couple of days ago. The Brian Hinton team that he was driving for, not running his car this weekend. Gary Holt's actually in Singapore and wasn't racing, so a deal was done to get his car sorted out for Luke to drive. Ben Grice helped out with some stickers. Everyone pitched in to get him going, and he's made it here, and he's unbelievably quick as Cam Hill now is trying to push Ben Grice through the last couple of corners.
Yeah, and actually I was watching qualifying yesterday, and I think Luke actually got balked on one of his quick laps, which probably would have put him on the front row, but it's quite important with these tyres. They don't have too many laps in them in qualifying to get the best out of them, and clearly showing his pace today. Stevie J's got a front under tray hanging down there. Bit of drag down the straight won't be helping.
Yep. Grice is through for position 7. Gets through on Trent Grubel. Just love watching these guys. They're attacking the curves now. Hill is attacking Grubel. Gets the spot. Oh. And that opens it all now for Josh Hunter to get a run. Because the thing is, you can make the move on somebody. They get past, and that's bad enough for them to lose a spot, but they lose the momentum, and that is what affects them. And I reckon Grubel's missed a gear there now.
Yeah, well, I reckon Cam missed a gear first, and then Grubel's obviously tried to make a pass on him, and then he's missed a gear. Ooh, Stevie J, yeah.
Plenty of debris over the top of the hill. Aaron Seaton, that's brave. Grabs 4th spot now. Just in front, Luke King has grabbed 2nd, and Seaton off the road just about. Johnson's back in the gap. He goes back through. He's got a little bit of, well,
yeah,
that's one way to get some downforce.
It won't be helping him in a straight line, that's for sure. That's why we saw Aaron pass him down the straight, but just the plastic underlining, using too much curb maybe, Stevie J.
Will Brown has got a little margin there. He's at the bottom of shot, 1.6 seconds. Luke King here, 2nd spot. As I mentioned before, got by Tim Brook, but this fight behind's good. Johnson, Seaton, David Cedars. Now Aaron's down the inside because Stephen just hasn't got the go. This time, though, Aaron gets around the corner okay.
How's that for a visual, though? Just that little bit of drag with that front under tray hanging down, just slowing Steve. You know, just that 2 or 3 k's an hour in a straight line.
Hill's through on Grice, so that gets him position 7.
Hunter.
Josh Hunter's through as well. It's been willing. This has been really good racing. There's Cam Hill. He's through to 7th place, but the guy he's fighting for the series lead with is in the lead of the race. That's going to bring a really nice point swing towards Will Brown. This is a replay with Stephen Johnson. This is after Seaton went around the outside of him over the top of the S's.
Yeah, so Aaron just went a little bit too deep. As he selected the gears, grabbed the rears a little bit, and he had to correct it, missed the corner.
Just love watching any race car through this part of the circuit. A couple of them whacking those cones that are on the inside there. That could have been also the place where Stevie J might have done himself a little bit of damage too. Yeah. Came back to Smith. John Goodacre's got the mirror hanging off.
Probably touched one of those big cones. But yeah, look over the top of the hill there. Those big cones that are bolted to the ground, you really need to be right on them to get the best run through that corner. And 9 times out of 10, you might misjudge it by a centimetre and just touch one of those cones and dislodge a guard liner. But yeah, Stevie J's obviously had a little rub with one of those. But Luke King, definitely a standout at the moment. Still got pace, he's catching on Will Brown. 4 laps remaining, 1.5 seconds. You know, he might close the gap, but passing's another thing.
Oh, couple off the road down at turn 1. Drew Ridge in the yellow number 4 car. Jake Klein keeps it nailed and makes it back out onto the road in front of a pack of 4 or 5 that are about to try to steal his positions. It's hard to know where to look here. We need about 140 cameras to cover all of these passing moves. Field of 33 in race 7 of the championship. Johnson's not done with yet. He's still keeping Aaron Seaton in sight, but David Cedars is now going to put some pressure on one of our 3 invited drivers. Almost come up for 2.
Luke's taken 4/10 out of Will Brown so far on this lap. So he's pushing hard. Young Aaron's been very consistent this season. Doing a great job. Always up the front. I think he had a win at Sydney Motorsport Park.
For someone so young, he's already got such a cross-section of experience. He's done some production car racing, some GT3 Cup Porsches. He's popped up in Australian GT, had a running Carrera Cup here, I think it was last year. So for someone who is still a teenager, is building a resume of experience. I mean, he won his class at the 12-hour in one of the Mark cars, the V8-powered cars that run from Brian McLeod's workshop up in Queensland. So for someone so young, he's building quite a resume. This is the replay of how Drew Ridge and Jake Klein ended up off the road. Didn't work out too well for either of them. I thought Klein was going to spin there, but somehow he kept it nailed all the way through the mud.
Yeah, unfortunately...
John Iofola getting together with Duncan Harrison, but they managed to get away with it.
Yeah, with the treaded tyres on these cars, you can actually have a wheel in the grass without too much effect. So,
Cedars, big move over the top of the hill. Not enough car in the gap to command the track position from Stephen Johnson. Looking back from the number 17 Toyota 86. A couple of laps to go here at Sandown. Luke King is just nibbling the margin. 7/10 now to our leader, Will Brown.
We have settled down a little bit. Everyone's sort of now at the sort of similar sort of tyre life, and the cars are all behaving the same. But as we saw just a moment ago, I think Drew Ridge and Jake Klein, you know, Drew took that big dive under brakes, but you know, Jake was already on the limit of braking, and we saw them come together. But
Cedars,
he's got him this time.
Yeah, he's had a couple of goes at this now.
Switch back.
Stephen Johnson get the run on him back up the other side. He's going to have to let him go here and live to fight another day. Whack a curve or 2 on the way through.
I'm surprised they're using that much curve. I know what it feels like in the supercar. I imagine it's not that pleasant in a little car like this. It's not designed for the big curves.
And one of the things you were saying from the last round at Sydney was your brain's telling you to catch the slide, catch the slide. When these start drifting, that's okay, but you've got to reprogram yourself.
Yeah, correct. If you're used to a slick tyre that doesn't move around, look at this. Luke King's on him now.
1 lap to go after this one. They're going to use up the Dunlops here, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but yeah, as I was saying, the tread of the tyre moves around a little bit. And just from what I'm used to, you know, all those little movements of the tyre were messing with my head, and I kept correcting a slide that actually wasn't there.
Oh, this is getting willing because Luke King's attacking. Will Brown was a bit deep there in the penultimate corner, so 1 lap to go. Race win on the line, 100 points on the line. Cameron Crick is going to manage to get himself out of the sand down at Dandenong Road corner. Luke King, can he get this done? Started from P3. Young gun from Gosford taking on the young gun Will Brown from Toowoomba. Oh, he's wide there.
hard.
He's using all the road because he's got a sniff, and he's worked unbelievably hard with the great help of a range of people just to get here in a deal that was done. I think it was Wednesday night from memory. They've towed the car. They've got friends friends and family together to get this deal together. So if he could deliver a win here, that would be the ultimate payback. But he's probably going to need a mistake from Will Brown with that sort of a margin down the back straight.
Yeah, look, Luke. So Luke here obviously just needs to still drive smart. You know, it's no need for a desperate right now. He's obviously quicker, and another 2 races to come this weekend. But both these guys driving the absolute wheels off the car.
Now this is a crucial one to get the drive from Dandenong Road, and Will Brown's done a good enough job there. It's been an entertaining first race, a great way to kick off Saturday at the Wilson Security Sandown 500. Last couple of quarters, Luke King smashes the curbs, flicks the wipers on in the process. I think he did that yesterday as well in qualifying. Will Brown, though, is going to win the first race of the weekend. Race 7 of the championship falls to him. It's his 2nd win of the season, and he closes in the points margin here. Ben Grice goes around right in front of the pack with 2 corners to go. And can he get it out of the grass, or will he find a spot in the traffic? Cam Hill, championship leader coming into the day. He finishes position 7. And I'm not sure if Ben Grice has been able to get going
damage
again.
on the front of Strongman's car there. It'd be interesting to see a replay whether it was himself and Gricey that came together. But interesting. Will Brown, 36 points he's made on Cameron Hill there.
Grice has got himself going again, but from a spot in the top 10, he's going to finish, I think, with position 28 or thereabouts. So not the way he wanted to finish, because the way that they finish this race is the way that they start race 8 of the championship late this afternoon. Oh, David Strongman was trying to cover Jack Klein and just succeeded in tagging Ben Grice. So that's one for Greg Crick, the driving standards observer, to look into. And they were lucky, actually, that he rolled out of the way just at the right time.
Could have been a lot worse, but unlucky there. To be on the receiving end of that.
No luck, though, for Will Brown. He takes the win from Luke King. Nice job again from Tim Brook, ever consistent. Aaron Seaton next from David Cedars. Then Stephen Johnson, Cam Hill, Damon Strongman, Drew Ridge. Dylan Golson, well done, in the top 10 at the end. He started from position 17. He made up some ground. Leanne Tander made up ground 2. She finished position 12. Graham Smith and Nick Filippetto rounding out the 20. There's Tony Longhurst in P21, and yes, Ben Grice did make it to the line, but it was all the way back in position 28. And the pole man, Adam Gowans, crashing on the first lap. He will have to start from the back of the grid in the next race of the Toyota 86 Racing Series.